Yo, what's going on guys, and welcome back to another Mecha break video. Today in this video we're going to do a beginner's guide for Inferno. Now this is the mech that I've been keeping on my radar, and since they recently buffed this mech, I wanted to give it a shot. Today in this video we're going to be showing some tips and tricks when playing Inferno, and once I learned to do this and change this around, it just made playing Inferno so much easier. And even the chat was like, really, that helps? And it actually helped me out specifically. So stay tuned for that. So we're going to be showing you guys the overall kit and going over some tips and tricks when it comes to Inferno. Now keep in mind, we're going to be also doing a video soon this week as well on how to counter Inferno, because a lot of people have asked how to counter Inferno. In higher ranks, Inferno is more of a pain in the butt. Now Inferno is a mech that you gotta have some team play when it comes to it, but when you know how to play Inferno just right, it actually is a beast. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Inferno can burn anything to the ground.
All right, let's take a look at Inferno's kit. Now, looking at the weapon specifically, the left click and right click are both the exact same thing. They are called a charge splitter. Now, this is pretty much like your shotgun. You can press it one time and it does a shotgun burst. And if you hold it, both triggers, you actually do a special charge up beam that does a lot of damage. So just to show you real quick, you can alternate your left and right click. So let's go ahead and use it. As you see, you can do that. Left and right click, you can alternate. Okay, now the closer you are, you will do a lot more damage. As you get closer, you see you do a lot more damage. Every single beam is about 750, I believe, damage. So the closer you are, the more damage you're going to do. So if you're really close to an opponent, you can use this instead of charging up. Now, to do the actual charge up, you have to hold both your left and right click at the exact same time. Keep in mind that if you've been using the shotgun of ammo for one of your weapons, so if you're at 0 on one and your other one has 1, you will not be able to do a charge up. So you have to make sure you have one. Each weapon has 1 charge left. So to do it, you're going to hold both your left clicks and you can go all the way up. Now, there is an audible sound when playing an Inferno. I noticed it's almost like Panther in a sense, where you always want to have a javelin fully charged just to always make it easier for you. There's been a lot of times I've been able to snipe a final kill off of someone. As you start to notice that there are targets that are low, you can get a snipe off and it does a lot of damage. I believe it's around 20,000 damage. Now, unfortunately, as it charges up, you cannot use it prematurely. You have to wait until it's fully charged. Now, there is an audible sound. Let's go ahead and play that one more time. So go ahead and use it first. It's a lot of damage. Now on a Tricera, it doesn't look like a lot of damage because they have a lot of shields. But keep in mind, when you break those shields, it does do a lot of damage. Now, again, as you charge up, you're going to hear the audible sound. Now, I am one that I always don't look at my circle around my Inferno. Well, in this case, a striker. I don't always keep an eye on that. Depending on what mech is very important, you do have to keep an eye on. When it comes to Inferno, though, I can just listen to the audible sound and know that it's ready to go. Now, when you go into different other of your abilities, the HUD does change, so it makes it a little bit tougher to keep an eye on. But again, as long as you can hear that sound, that chiming sound that you're fully charged, you are good to go. So again, you can't unfortunately, as you see, you cannot unfortunately use it early. So you have to make sure that it's fully charged. Okay? Now, I believe when we tested this out specifically, we were able to get almost 750 range, if not more. This really does a really good job at hitting targets. Even though you're really far away, your second ability, we will be talking about, even hits even further. So it's really nice to know that you can actually hit really far with these weapons, because it makes it easier when someone's trying to do the objective. You can have a charge being ready and then shoot in that area to stop someone from actually grabbing the objective. All right, now looking at his first ability, Aux 1, is the split emitter. Now, this is the exact same ability, give or take, like Hurricane has on the Aux 3 for Hurricane. Now, the only difference is Hurricane does do a lot more damage on the Aux 3, but in this case, what you balance out here with the damage is you're able to have 12 beams to go out, which is really good to use. So now, when using the beam, you can go ahead and tap it. You could activate this and cancel it early if you wanted to. But one thing I learned that we were able to test out while we were trying to learn how to counter potentially Inferno is if you are closer to the target, as the beam crosses, now you're only allowed to have one lock on, but as the other beams cross, they also will do damage to the target as well. Now watch, you're going to see one always constantly do damage, but as it crosses, it actually does damage to that mech as well. So that's something to keep in mind. If you're close, those other cross beams, as it goes across it, will also do damage to you, to them as well. What I find very helpful for the Aux 1 specifically is if you're going against like Falcon, Sky Raider, even Stego, who has these missiles that come out, you can actually use this ability to actually destroy the missiles. Now what's really good, it takes like almost a second, if that, for it to destroy the missile as it comes out, and it will do it automatically, obviously. So it's really good that you can use this as a defensive mechanism to be able to stop those missiles from either harming your team and or harming yourself. Now also keep in mind, you can use this ability while you're flying and hovering. As you see, you can use that. So just keep that in mind. That's going to be very important as we start talking about the other kits part of Inferno as well. Now, looking at the Aux 2, let's go ahead and pull that up. Aux 2 is your focus emitter. Keep in mind that everything you do is energy based, so you need to know who counters energy. So if you have yet to see my Welkin video, you will know about that specifically. But everything you do is energy and is also drones, which is very important that you know that everything you're doing when it comes to your second ability is a drone, so that it could be canceled by someone who's jamming you. So when it comes to the focus emitter, you do one giant beam and it does a lot of damage. Now, this is the one ability, as you see here. You can use this also while flying. All those are drones doing a lot of damage to a target. As you saw, the amount of damage that it does is pretty insane. Now, we were able to test this. It's not 1,000 meters, but you can get around 900 plus, maybe 950. You're able to actually keep doing damage to a target. And I was able to do this a few times while trying to keep people off the point. I'm able to use this as a way to someone really far away to do damage to them so that they won't actually grab a key or the extraction zone. So you can use that to your advantage. You have a cap at 1,000 meters for sure, but a little bit less than that, we were able to test at 900, 950. I was still able to do damage. So I think around 950 is your cap. Anything over 1,000, you wouldn't be able to do it. So that's something we were able to learn while we were actually playing Inferno and learning how to counter it. There is a cap at 1,000 meters, so that just so you guys know, you can keep going as far as you want, even though you can't see it. 1,000 meters is where you're going to stop at. All right, the next ability, which is the most important ability, which they ended up buffing this is the booster kit. So let's go ahead and read that. It says cancel and grants immunity to immobilization and stagger. Okay, disengages enemies' grapples, boost energy, fluid armor, evade range, jump height, boost speed, and ascend speed. And you can activate this to disable it as well, and this will allow you to create illusions that will cause them to target that versus you. So it's really interesting. Now this is extremely amazing. When using this, it like it mentions, it gives you immunity to being staggered. So if someone is stunning you, you can activate this instead of using shift. You're able to break out and start using illusions to get out of that situation. Now they actually buffed this specifically to allow you to travel further, also moving while you're using your boosting speed. Not only just using your dash, but also just normal speed is actually traveling further. As you jump, it also ascends a lot higher. It does a lot for you specifically. Now this changes your kit a little bit as well, and let's go ahead and activate it. Okay, as you see the illusions pop up, it also changes your one ability. As you saw, I'll pop it back up real quick, but as you saw, your normal one ability is actually yellow. And same goes for your second ability, is normally yellow. But if you activate it while you're using the boost mode, booster kit, you actually change it and actually charges up more. It does, technically doesn't do more damage, but the fire rate is a little bit faster, so you technically do more damage in a sense. But as you saw, normal beam is yellow. Okay. But if you use the booster kit, you would actually do it where it starts to change to a different color. You're going to see it right now. As we go ahead and use the booster kit here. Okay. I try to get both of them in a short span. As you saw, they are more of an orange kind of hint to it. So that's how you know that you're actually doing a little better, faster rate of fire when it comes to using those kits. Now, what's very important, and this is my tip for you guys, and hopefully this helps you guys. I have a infinite scroll wheel on my mouse, specifically the mouse that I'm using. Okay. Now, what I ended up doing while I was playtesting, I couldn't figure out how to do challenge 3 on Inferno, where you have to destroy 24 strikers while not touching the ground. And the chat was telling me you have to balance your Aux 3 with your other abilities. Learn how to balance your first ability to keep you hovering and your second ability with your Aux 3 and keep your energy going. And it was really tough. Now, what I found it easier for me is I ended up changing my keybind from my Aux 3 to the actual scroll wheel. Now, why did I do that specifically? I have an infinite scroll wheel. So when I press my one ability, my third ability, it will automatically cancel it for me and try to activate it again. As you see, it is still trying to do it. And again, I just find it easier for that, letting the scroll wheel kind of do its job. As you saw, it did it all pretty much as long as I had it up, so it kind of slowed it down a little bit. But I found that while trying to quickly cancel, you have a 3-second cooldown. It still gives you a good amount of boost to balance up your energy a little bit. It allows you to use that extra rate of fire on your first ability. And I just found it so much easier to do it this way by changing my keybind to have that infinite scroll wheel. Because what it ends up doing for me specifically is I can activate that and have it where I can balance my first and second ability. And when the third ability is able to come back up, if I need to, I can go ahead and use that scroll wheel again. And I just found that it's so much easier to balance it specifically. I don't have to worry about it a couple times. Normally, if I do the scroll wheel just right, I'm able to get my first ability and my second ability in without having to worry about re-scrolling again because of that infinite scroll wheel. So that's just my tip. Now, what I found very, very helpful is when it comes to this specifically, let me see if I can get it to pop up, is trying to balance out your Aux 1. With your 2. And then when you're done, you're going to do the dash, activate. Keep yourself up, dash, keep yourself up. Let the boost go through. Dash, hold yourself up. Activate this. Dash, hold yourself up a little bit. Activate that ability. Pop this ability. And like I said, you just keep rotating through this. Dash, pop your other ability. Pop this. dash, dash, pop this ability, dash, dash, hold yourself up a little bit. Again, activate your other ability again. Now, I am messing up a little bit, but if you can keep an eye on your rotation, dash, dash, hold this up, pop this up.
Energy low. Weapon not ready.
You can, if you are better at rotation, keeping your rotation, you do a lot better than I am doing when it comes to this specific ability. Again, I've been able to use this ability a lot more. The more and more I keep playing it, the more I keep getting better at the rotation, knowing how long I can just not worry about my scroll wheel activated. I tend to find it where when I don't have any booster kit is when you really want to either do your dash, or your priority is going to be using your ability. So as your booster kit goes away, for those 3 seconds, activate one of your abilities if they're off a cooldown. And as that go away, your cooldown of your energy boost should go back up. And just rotate it a little bit. Your priority is going to be using your abilities when you're off your booster kit. And then when you're off your booster kit, do a dash, and then try to shift and hold your shift up. While you're holding your shift up, you're going to be able to actually hold it, and you don't have to worry about using your aux 3 anymore. So you just need to be able to balance your aux 3 with your other abilities to keep yourself up all the time. It just makes it a little bit easier by having the infinite scroll wheel. You just have to make sure you keep in mind that the aux 3 is where you want to balance it out, and you can keep yourself in the sky for a long time. We were testing how to counter Inferno, and for like 4 or 5 minutes, I still have my abilities to go with this. So this is a really good ability. If you're able to manage this, can really be really good for you guys. Now, when it comes to who are your best matchups, now for me specifically, now I can't say I'm the best Inferno player, but I've been able to play Inferno for a little bit, and I've been noticing who are my best matchups. Both tank bros are going to be your best, Stego and Tricera, because they have a radius that they can't look up too much. They have to relocate themselves to try to get to me. I find that because I'm hovering high in the sky, it makes it really tough for them to get to me and kind of focus on me. So I always tend to always be above them. And the amount of damage that I can do because of my energy really eats through a lot of their shields. With the holding of my weapons between rotating my first ability and second ability, and then my booster kit to keep myself up, really allows me to really destroy them pretty quickly. If you're a really good Inferno, you're kind of trying to stay around the objective, but if you need to escape, I noticed specifically that the booster kit, we tested this out, and I'm going to try to put a B-roll clip of this specifically. We tested out a Panther using all of their energy plus their aux 2 to replenish their energy, and I was able to outrun a Panther by balancing out my aux 3 just right to be able to keep my energy up at all times. Now, we were able to run out, and I was able to say, hey, did you run out of energy because you stopped? They said yes. So being able to balance out that, it might be very crucial to outrun a Panther, to outrun a Stellaris player. There's a lot of targets that can go for you, but I've noticed that the melee brawlers are the ones that actually hard counter specifically. There are others as well that does a pretty good job at countering Inferno, but those two I've noticed the most, Stellaris and Panther. Depending on how your positioning is, I like to position myself really, really high. And because I have so much range on my first and second ability, I try to use that as my advantage. So I'm really high, trying to do a lot of damage to a lot of enemies. As a team, slowly start taking a lot of damage. As a team, everyone is taking damage. So I try to position myself just right. And you have to just balance out your aux 3 and your aux 1 and your 2 to keep yourself up in the air. And again, I find that is the best way to normally do it when handling with Inferno. And that's pretty much it. Inferno, like I said, I enjoy using Inferno. One thing I would say that I don't like specifically about Inferno is the reload speed of the weapon. The main weapon specifically is 9 seconds to reload, which is a really, really long time. I think 7 seconds would probably be better. I think a sweet spot, I would say, would probably be 6 seconds, but it might be really strong. The way his kit is actually really, really strong. And you can tell that with Inferno, if you have a team kind of built around Inferno, can make it easier to destroy a lot of targets. But if the team is not working together, I find it really tough to play as Inferno. So this is why I can see why in higher ranks, while people are trying to play together and doing callouts, it makes it easier as Inferno to work together. But if you happen to be playing Inferno, the best way you have to do is you have to do callouts. You're going to have to say, if you're not working together and you don't know who you need to be focusing on as an Inferno player. Do the call outs. Say, hey, target this player, target this player. And it made it so much easier. Say, look, healer's almost gone. I did a lot of damage. Help me kill this healer. Hey, this Tricera's almost gone. Boom. Let's help take this character out. And it makes it easier when you're doing those things by doing some callouts to make sure your teammates can help you destroy that enemy. But that's pretty much it. I think Inferno is a really solid mech. You do need to understand how to balance that Aux 3 and the other abilities. If you can land that, I think anybody can be really good with Inferno. The whole purpose is if you had to balance that Aux tree, which I can see why is really, really hard for a lot of players to balance it. Again, I found it really tough, but as soon as I found, hey, I can probably put this on my scroll wheel, can I? Let's just see what happens. I just found it so much more easier to play it this way. I don't have to worry about it as much because it's trying to activate it and disengage it, and I don't have to worry about it for a little while. So that just makes it easier for me to play. So if you happen to have an infinite scroll wheel, maybe this will help you out when playing Inferno. If you don't, maybe change the keybinds to make it easier for you. I found it for me, I don't like that number 3. I found it really tough for me to hit that button to change that. I had to change that to make more of my liking. Let me know down in the comments down below, do you recommend Inferno? If you are an Inferno player, how can we improve if you are Inferno main? I am curious to see any tips and tricks when playing Inferno specifically. And if you are new and you're not sure how to play Inferno, hopefully this guy was able to help you guys out. Now, I will be making a video this week as well on how to counter Inferno, and you're going to see more tips and tricks, who are S rank, who is A, and then who is the D tier when it comes to playing against a Inferno player. And that is pretty much it, guys. I see you guys in the next video. Peace.